So I've already made a lot of videos on yoga asanas, that is the yoga postures. So I thought of making a video on the subject of yoga pranayam, which is the controlled yogic breathing. So let us discuss what exactly pranayam is, because nowadays a lot of people practice yoga. It has become a fashion to practice yoga, and it has become a huge industry now. It has become a huge money spinning industry. A lot of yoga organizations and spiritual organizations teach certain breathing practices as their mainstream product, and so it is important to know what exactly pranayama is and how a person is supposed to practice them. So firstly, let us look at the word pranayam. Pranayam basically is made of two Sanskrit words, prana and ayam. Prana basically means the vital energy, the life energy, and ayam basically means to control that life energy. Control. So pranayam basically means controlling the vital energy. Now, first thing that you need to understand is, why do we need to control this vital energy? Because this is the energy that actually uh, runs your mind as well. So, controlling this energy will allow your mind to be concentrated. In today's world, especially in today's age of internet, where uh, it has been well documented that the attention spans or the the ability to focus on a particular subject or topic has considerably reduced amongst the youngsters, due to the fact that there are so many different social media platforms these days, and there is this constant surfing from one social media platform to another, and this has actually led to decrease in the attention spans of today's generation of people in general. Actually, not just the youngsters, even the adults, the attention span has reduced considerably because of this surfing from one social media platform to another. So it has become even more important in today's world to help the mind focus, to increase the concentration of the mind. So pranayam helps in concentration of the mind, which ultimately leads to the other stage of yoga, which is the meditative stage. So, like asanas being the first stage, pranayam or controlled yogic breathing being the second stage, and the meditation being the third stage. So this process, this reaching the state of meditation where your mind is focused, concentrated thinking, so that stage is facilitated by the practice of controlled yogic breathing or yoga pranayam. So that is one reason why you need to learn pranayam. The other thing is your vital energy. It also increases your uh, apperceptive power, which is basically your ability to uh, judge newer experiences and relate it to older past experiences, so that you can come up with newer conclusions. And that is how the human mind and the human conscience progresses in this world. So the apperceptive power is also increased by the practice of pranayama. Apart from that, we should understand that pranayam should be practiced by spiritual aspirants. It is not something that is practiced by people who are not interested in the spiritual journey. People who are into spirituality, or who are into uh, who are basically spiritual aspirants, they are the ones who should actually be practicing pranayam. Although practice of pranayam has a lot of physical benefits, a lot of the diseases are also cured by the practice of pranayam. And one of the reasons why the the whole system of yoga and system of yogic breathing has become quite popular is because it has a lot of health benefits, a lot of physical benefits. But having said that, let us just look at what is happening in today's world when it comes to yoga pranayam. People are like, there are a lot of spiritual organizations or yoga organizations that are teaching this whole hyper oxidizing type of pranayam, which gives you that oxidative high. No doubt it actually increases the vital energy of the body, but apart from that, it also gives you that feel, that oxidative high, that will give you that illusion of bliss. And this is one of the reasons why these practices become very popular, because as and when people practice them, not only do they experience an increase in their vital energy, because these practices, especially the hyper oxidizing practices, wherein you're breathing rapidly and heavily, those hyperoxidizing or hyperventilating practices where you're breathing heavily and rapidly, those pranayams, they enhance your vital energy, and they also increase, basically they give you that oxidative high, so they give you that illusion of bliss. So that is one of the reasons why people go for such practices. But these are the people who already have a certain level of health. The positive results that you get due to these practices are usually people who already have a certain level of fitness and health. These organizations, they will never talk about the other people, the people who actually develop a lot of problems. In fact, I've had so many cases of people suddenly developing fever. I've heard people saying that they suddenly experience fever by practicing these pranayam, and some of them actually develop back problems. So this is because your body is not ready for this enhanced vital energy. It's like, let me make an analogy over here. Like if you have an electric bulb, and if you want the bulb to glow even more brightly, so what do is suppose you attach a regulator and increase the power to the bulb. The bulb will indeed glow more brightly, but it will also become hotter, and it will burst after some time. This is how it is with the human body too. You're increasing the vital energy by doing those bellows type of breathing. The bellows of a blacksmith, it increases the fire, right? When you use the bellows, when a blacksmith uses a bellows, it increases the fire. Similarly, when you're doing that hyper oxidizing, that heavy rapid breathing type of practices, it increases vital energy, no doubt. But if your body is not ready for it, it will increase the temperature, increase the heat, it will cause problems like fever and backaches. But these are the cases that are never reported by these organizations. They will only talk about the success stories, and that is where I feel that this whole commercialization is a bit wrong, because everyone shouldn't be taught these practices unless their bodies are actually ready. In fact, some of the genuine schools of yoga, like the Iyengar school of yoga, they never teach pranayam straight away. They will first focus on the asanas, the physical aspect of yoga. Only once the person has reached a certain level of expertise in the asanas, in the physical practices, do they actually go towards the prana or the vital energy aspect of yoga. And that is how it should be. So how do you decide whether your body is ready for practicing pranayam? Very, very simple actually. I have already spoken about the whole connection of the autonomic nervous system. Now let me tell you one thing, that the practice of pranayam is very much related to the autonomic nervous system. You are increasing the vital energy, no doubt about it. When you're doing pranayam, you're controlling the prana, you're controlling the vital energy, so that you can enhance it, so that it helps in the concentration of your mind, it increases your apperceptive power. But apart from that, you are the main thing is you are increasing your vital energy, so your body should actually be ready for it. So like I made the analogy of the bulb. Increasing the power to the bulb will heat up the bulb. It will no doubt glow brightly for some time. The person may feel that oxidative high for some time, but the bulb will become hotter and it will burst. That's how the body. So basically, the body develops fever, and this has happened. This is not something that I'm saying out of the blue. This has actually happened. People have reported suffering from fever right on the first day of practicing these pranayamic practices. So what do you need to do is you need to replace the bulb with something that can actually take that extra power, extra vital energy. So what that means is you need to change the hardware, you need to change the body first with diet and asana practice. only then will it be ready to do those controlled yogic breathing practices. And like I said, this pranayam is connected to the autonomic nervous system. I have already spoken about how a balanced autonomic nervous system basically means that you are healthy. What I am trying to say is that your metabolism has anabolism and catabolism. When the anabolism and catabolism both are in perfect harmony, that is what is yoga. The harmony between the fire and the ice, the sun and the moon, the masculine and the feminine. The Chinese culture calls it the yin and the yang. So biologically speaking, the catabolism and the anabolism, both these things should be in perfect harmony. Only then can you actually be like only then can you be ready for practicing the yogic breathing practices. So how do you make sure that your autonomic nervous system is balanced? I already spoke about how the two nostrils are connected to the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous system. The left nostril, when dominant, indicates that your body is more dominantly in the predominantly in the parasympathetic mode, and the right nostril being dominant indicates that your body is in the sympathetic mode. So this is what is the basis of the alternate nostril breathing pranayam that is quite famous and popular. But before you practice even alternate nostril breathing, before you practice that, you need to ensure that your body is ready for this. So what is the criteria? Well, there is a pose called veerasana. Veerasana is a yoga pose. It's a sitting. I'm sorry. Veerasana is a sitting yoga posture, which if you are able to do for at least 5 to 7 minutes, that means your body is ready for pranayam. And I have already made a video on me demonstrating the Veerasana posture. You can check that video. The link of that video is in the description down below. So that posture is very important. If you can manage to sit in that posture for 5 to 7 minutes, that means your body is light enough and ready enough to take that enhanced vital energy which you get by the practice of pranayam. Otherwise, you can develop a lot of health problems. Like you can get fever, you can have back problems if you practice it without that criteria. But this is the actual method. This is the actual technique of following yogic breathing, of following the practice of pranayam. So I made this video so that I can talk about this basic fundamental requirement before you start practicing pranayam. This is me being as responsible as possible, because it is important that people understand the proper system of yoga, not just the asanas but also the pranayam and also the meditation. I'll be making another video on yoga meditation too. This was on pranayam. I'll be making one on meditation too, so that people understand what exactly meditation is, what exactly pranayam is, what exactly yoga really is. So Veerasana, just have a look at what exactly Veerasana does to the body and how you're supposed to do it. This is just a short video that I've made on Veerasana. So in Veerasana, what you're doing is you are simply kneeling down by folding both the knees and bringing both the knees together. Then you bring both the heels together and you simply try to sit on the heels, but instead of folding the toes upwards, you would actually fold the toes downwards like this, and then you try to sit on the heels by putting the whole weight of your body on the heels, such that both the feet should be as perpendicular to the floor as possible. And the way you're going to shift the entire weight on the heels is by placing your hands near the groin region. And the way you're going to do that is you're supposed to first place the thumb on the base of the ring finger like this, and then place the back of the hands on the thighs such that the fingers are pointing towards the groin region and they are touching the thigh joint. And then try to straighten the elbows by shifting the back behind. That will ensure that the entire weight is falling on the heels, and the way the weight is falling on the heels is such that the both the heels would actually be pressing against the perineum region, that is the point between the genitals and the anal outlet. So the entire weight will be falling on the perineum region, and you'll be sitting in this pose for at least 5 to 7 minutes. So that is how you actually practice veerasana. Now I can actually meditate in veerasana for a very long time, as you must have seen me doing it in the veerasana demonstration video, which I have mentioned before. You can check that out. I've shown you in that video that I can actually sit in meditation in this pose. So initially, beginners may not be able to do this. This is slightly challenging for beginners, but it's not impossible. So that was the technique of doing veerasana. So you can see that in that pose, we are basically putting the entire body weight on the heels by pressing the heels against the perineum point. The perineum point is the point between the anal outlet and the genitals. So this posture obviously needs to be done by wearing a Langota, which is the Indian loincloth. I've already spoken about the Langota. You can check out the links in the description below. So when you are placing your entire body weight on the heels by pressing the perineum against the heels, what happens is you are stimulating, basically you know that the autonomic nervous system, there are two sympathetic chains that run along the spine. And so you can literally, and they basically start from the base of the spine, which is closer to the perineum, and they run along the length of the spine, the two sympathetic nerve chains. And basically by doing this, you will be stimulating that sympathetic chain because you are literally pressing the perineum against the heels. And the other thing is your legs, the toes and the feet, they serve as acupressure points for the stimulation of many glands as well as organs in the body. That, along with the stimulation of the sympathetic nervous chain, will eventually make the autonomic nervous system get balanced. Like if you are able to sit in this posture for around 15 minutes with the back straight, you would literally feel both the nasal passages opening up, and this is something that you will have to experience on your own when you actually practice this. You will literally find that both the nasal passages open up when you sit in this posture for around 10 to 15 minutes. You will literally feel it. You'll feel the balancing of the autonomic nervous system by the fact that it is associated with the activation of both the nostrils. So you literally feel the opening up of both the nasal passages. So this is one thing. Once that happens, it obviously means that your body is ready for pranayamic practices. And apart from that, you will notice that this is not a very easy pose. It is quite challenging. And even though in this demonstration, I have done it for a very short time, there is this demonstration video on veerasana, which is again in the description below. The link of that video is in the description below. There I have done veerasana. I have actually done a long meditation in veerasana. It's a pretty boring video because I'm not doing anything else over there. I'm just sitting in veerasana and meditating. But you can see in that video that I can actually do it for a very long time. But this is because I have practiced this pose a lot, and my body has actually become very light because of extensive yoga practice. Beginners will obviously not be able to do this because their bodies are not light enough. So what beginners can do is they can start with 30 seconds, and then I have been doing this on the granite floor, but obviously beginners won't be able to do that. You'll have to start with something soft like a mat or a carpet. So start practicing this pose on a mat, on a soft mat, the synthetic mat or the carpet, and then do it initially for, try to maintain it for 30 seconds. Do it 4 times, 30 seconds each, and gradually try to increase the duration of this pose. You will, it won't take much time, like as and when the body becomes lighter, you will be able to do this pose. This pose will again help in the activation of all the endocrine glands, will help in balancing the autonomic nervous system. Like I said, it will literally open up both the nasal passages. You'll be able to feel that once you're able to do it for more than 10 minutes. So once you are able to do it for 5 to 7 minutes, that would be uh, a good indication that your body has become very light and very, very healthy. Because you see this, in this pose, you're sitting on the toes like that, you're actually enhancing the basic structure of your leg as well, the basic right angled structure of your ankles. So it enhances the muscles that support that structure. So this is it about veerasana. And thanks for watching.